The planet cannot be understood at a single glance. It must be walked, observed calmly, and approached with the acceptance that every landscape is the result of processes that exceed any human scale. Mountains, cliffs, and deserts are not there by chance. They are visible traces of time in motion. Exploring these places is not just about traveling. It is about learning to read the history written in rock, feeling how the Earth continues to change, and remembering that we are only temporary visitors in a world far older than ourselves. Number 15. Zhangye, Danxia, China. In Gansu province in northwestern China, the landscape of Zhangye, Danxia seems to defy any prior idea of Earth's geology. Hills and ridges display perfectly defined multicolored bands, as if the mountain had been painted with successive brushstrokes. However, this effect is neither superficial nor recent. It is the result of more than 24 million years of sedimentation and pressure. Layers of sandstone and minerals were slowly deposited one upon another, and later folded by the movement of tectonic plates. Erosion eventually revealed the pattern, exposing a natural mosaic in which each color corresponds to a different type of sediment. The light at sunrise and sunset intensifies the tones, making the terrain appear to change shape as the hours pass. Exploring Zhangye, Danxia is like walking through a visible chronology of the planet. It is not just about observing striking colors, but about understanding how time, acting without haste, can transform invisible processes into one of the most unique landscapes in the world. Here, geology presents itself as a continuous work, always evolving. Number 14. Seven Sisters Cliffs, England. On the southern coast of England, the Seven Sisters Cliffs unfold like a white line in direct dialogue with the English Channel. They are not simple rock walls. They are open pages of a marine past preserved in layers of compacted chalk more than 80 million years old. Walking along their paths means crossing a boundary where the land gently tilts before surrendering to the sea. As the wind moves freely across the cliffs, the landscape constantly changes. Light transforms the white into ivory, then soft gray, and finally golden tones at sunset. This variation is not decorative, but a sign that the environment is active, responding to every atmospheric condition. The sea patient continues shaping the base of the cliffs, while gravity does the rest. Exploring this place is not a hurried activity. It is an invitation to observe how geology and climate cooperate without rush, reminding us that even the most serene landscapes are in perpetual transformation. Number 13. Lena Pillars, Russia. Following the course of the Lena River in the heart of Siberia, the Lena Pillars emerge, an alignment of limestone towers that seem to rise directly from the frozen ground. These structures reach heights close to 100 meters and extend for several kilometers, forming a mineral corridor that accompanies the river like a solid echo of deep time. Their origin dates back to ancient seas that once covered the region. Over millions of years, land uplift and extreme freeze-thaw cycles sculpted these vertical columns. In summer, the reflection of the towers on the water creates a sense of duplication. In winter, the landscape becomes almost monochromatic, emphasizing the pure geometry of the rock. Moving through this environment conveys absolute calm. Here, exploration is not about conquest, but about understanding the true scale of natural processes and the patience with which the Earth builds its most monumental forms. Number 12. Painted Hills, United States. In the interior of the state of Oregon, the Painted Hills reveal a landscape that appears intentionally painted. Gentle, almost rolling hills display color bands ranging from deep red to ash gray, passing through pinkish and ochre tones that shift with the light of the day. These hues are not superficial. Each band corresponds to a different geological period formed from volcanic ash that slowly settled and transformed into mineral clays. Erosion, rather than destroying the whole, refined it. exposing a chromatic record of the planet's past. Silence here is part of the experience. There are no great elevations or dominant shadows, only open terrain that invites slow walking and careful observation of how geological history manifests in soft forms. The painted hills demonstrate that natural beauty does not always arise from the abrupt, but also from patient repetition and the balance between time and matter. Number 11. Ha Long Bay, Vietnam. In northern Vietnam, Ha Long Bay unfolds as an aquatic labyrinth of limestone columns. Thousands of islets rise from emerald green waters, creating a landscape where the boundary between land and sea seems to dissolve. The sensation is that of navigating through a suspended scene shaped with a precision that only time can achieve. These formations originated from ancient seabeds uplifted by tectonic movements. Later, water and tropical humidity slowly dissolved the rock-carving caves, arches, and natural passages. Each island is distinct, yet all share a visual coherence that reinforces the harmony of the whole. Exploring the bay means understanding how geology integrates with everyday life. Local communities have learned to coexist with this changing environment, adapting their movements and activities to the rhythm of the water. Ha Long Bay is not just a landscape to contemplate, but a living example of balance between nature and human presence. Number 10. Chocolate Hills, Philippines. On the island of Bohol, the Chocolate Hills form a panorama so orderly that it is hard to believe it is entirely natural. More than 1,000 cone-shaped hills are distributed almost uniformly, creating a visual repetition that captures the eye from every angle. These elevations originated from ancient coral reefs that rose from the sea and were slowly shaped by rainwater. During the dry season, the vegetation turns a soft brown, giving the formation its name and reinforcing its almost sculptural appearance. Traveling through this landscape conveys a sense of rhythm and calm. There is no dominant point or main hill. All participate equally in the composition. It is a reminder that nature also works with patterns, repeating a form until it becomes identity. Here, exploration turns into pure contemplation. Number 9. Reynisfjara, Black Beach, Iceland. On Iceland's southern coast, Reynisfjara offers a completely different sensory experience. The black sand formed from fragments of volcanic lava absorbs light and creates a stark contrast with the ocean and the ever-changing sky. The basalt columns flanking the beach rise in nearly perfect geometric patterns. These structures formed when lava cooled uniformly, creating natural fractures that now appear designed with ruler and compass. The constant sound of waves reinforces the sense of standing before an active landscape in permanent dialogue with the Atlantic. Exploring Reynisfjara means understanding how fire and water can collaborate in the creation of beauty. There is no ornament or excess, only pure matter transformed by natural forces. It is a place that invites respectful observation and recognition of the creative power within the planet. Number 8. Devil's Tower, United States. Rising from the plains of northeastern Wyoming, Devil's Tower stands out for its vertical form and surprising regularity. This tower is not a traditional mountain, but the solidified core of magma that never reached the surface. Over time, the softer surrounding materials eroded, leaving this formation of prismatic columns exposed. Each vertical line marks the slow cooling of magma, an invisible process now readable directly in the rock. For many indigenous cultures, this place holds deep spiritual meaning. From a geological perspective, it offers a unique opportunity to observe the Earth's internal processes without intermediaries. Visiting Devil's Tower means confronting a different scale where verticality impresses not by height, but by the clarity of its origin. Number 7. Pulpit Rock, Norway. Over the Lysefjord Preikestolen projects itself as an almost perfect granite platform. Its flat surface contrasts with the void that opens more than 600 meters below, offering a direct perspective of the true scale of the Norwegian landscape. This formation is the result of glacial activity during the last ice age. The advance and retreat of ice polished the rock, separating it cleanly from its surroundings. The result is not abrupt, but remarkably orderly. Reaching this point is an essential part of the experience. The trail prepares the visitor to understand that geology is not only observed, it is also traversed. Preikestolen shows that structural simplicity can generate some of the most striking scenes on the planet. Number 6. Old Man of Hoy, Scotland. Off the coast of the Orkney Islands rises the Old Man of Hoy, a red sandstone monolith that appears to defy balance. Its vertical silhouette separated from the original cliff due to the constant action of the sea. Each visible layer tells a story of ancient sediments and marine erosion. The environment, dominated by wind and water, reinforces the sense of isolation and geological continuity. Exploring this place means observing how coastal landscapes evolve slowly. There is no urgency or drama, only constant transformation. The Old Man of Hoy reminds us that even the most iconic forms remain in permanent dialogue with the elements. Number 5. Antelope Canyon, United States. In northern Arizona near the Utah border, Antelope Canyon is one of those places where geology becomes almost intimate. It is not an open or monumental landscape at first glance, but a narrow, deep, winding canyon, patiently carved by water over thousands of years. The sandstone walls display soft curves as if the rock itself had learned to flow. Each storm, however brief, contributed its part. Water rushed through cracks, dragging sand and polishing the interior centimeter by centimeter. Thus, this corridor of light and shadow was formed where straight lines do not exist. What most attracts visitors is the relationship with light. At certain moments of the day, sunbeams enter from above and bounce off the walls, creating orange, reddish, and violet tones that change minute by minute. No two visits are the same, because the landscape depends as much on geological time as on the present moment. Exploring Antelope Canyon is not about walking fast. It is about moving slowly, looking upward and understanding how simple processes, water, sand, and gravity can create one of the most photographed spaces on the planet. Here, the Earth impresses not by size, but by precision and patience. Number 4. Manpupuner Rocks, Russia. On an isolated plateau in the Ural Mountains stand the Manpupuner Rocks, 7 stone pillars that appear to watch over the horizon. These formations, more than 40 meters high, are the result of an extremely slow erosion process. Over millions of years, wind, ice, and rain wore down the surrounding rocks while more resistant fragments remained standing. The result is a sculptural ensemble that appears deliberate even though it is entirely natural. The open, silent environment amplifies the presence of the columns. Exploring this place means understanding how material resistance can shape a landscape just as much as force. Here, geology approaches art without human intention, demonstrating that nature also composes with balance and symmetry. Number 3. Matterhorn, Switzerland. The Matterhorn rises like an almost perfect pyramid in the Alps. Its shape is the result of the collision between tectonic plates that compressed and uplifted ancient materials to form this singular peak. Each ridge reflects processes of pressure folding and erosion. It is not just a mountain, but a visible synthesis of continental dynamics. Exploring its surroundings means understanding how geology defines the world's most recognizable landscapes. The Matterhorn needs no embellishment. Its form is the direct result of millions of years of terrestrial movement. Number 2. Grand Prismatic Spring, United States. In Yellowstone, the Grand Prismatic Spring displays a palette of colors that seems unreal. These tones come from microorganisms adapted to different water temperatures. The deep blue center marks the hottest zone while the outer rings gradually change color. It is a visible representation of the planet's internal heat. Here, exploration becomes scientific and aesthetic observation at the same time. The spring demonstrates that life and geology are not separate but deeply connected. Number 1. Moon Viewpoint, Angola. On the coast of Angola, Moon Viewpoint presents an undulating terrain reminiscent of the lunar surface. Layers of sand and clay have been sculpted by erosion over millions of years. The soft repeated forms create an almost abstract landscape. There is no dominant vegetation, allowing the structure of the terrain to remain fully exposed. Exploring this place means observing geology in its purest state without intermediaries. It is a lesson in how time can transform simple materials into deeply evocative scenes. Wave Rock, Australia. In the heart of Western Australia, Wave Rock appears as a wave frozen in time, as if the Earth had stopped its movement at the exact moment a massive wave was about to break. This granite formation, rising about 15 meters into the sky, was not carved by the sea, but by a much quieter, yet equally powerful process: the action of rainwater and temperature variations that over centuries wore down the rock unevenly. As one approaches Wave Rock, it is impossible not to feel a strange calm, as if nature itself had left a tangible mark of its patience. It is not monumental in size, but in the precision of its form. There is something deeply serene about this place, as if all the time in the world had been taken to sculpt that perfect curve. It is a reminder that in geology, patience is a force greater than any haste. Walking alongside it is in a way walking at the slow rhythm of the earth. The rock, though immobile, seems to tell stories of thousands of years of time in its purest form. And sometimes grandeur is not necessary. A clear, simple landscape is enough to feel the magnitude of nature. Giant's Causeway, Northern Ireland. On the coast of Northern Ireland, the Giant's Causeway unfolds like a natural work of art, formed by thousands of basalt columns that fit together like pieces of a gigantic puzzle. These columns were not carved by human hands, but by the slow cooling of volcanic lava, which upon solidifying created perfect fractures in the rock, so regular and geometric that it seems impossible they are the result of chance. Walking through this landscape feels like stepping on ground that is neither flat nor random, but a dance of nature that took millions of years to form. Each step connects you to Earth's remote past, a reminder that geology has its own rhythm, slow but constant. The sound of the sea crashing against the rocks, the wind brushing the skin, and the endless sky accompany the experience, creating a sense of vastness and serenity. What is astonishing here is not only the perfection of the forms, but the fact that despite their apparent order, everything we see is the result of natural forces working together without haste to bring this unique landscape to life. At the Giant's Causeway, one can feel how nature creates beauty without artifice or intervention, only patience and time. Salar de Uyuni, Bolivia. In the heart of the Bolivian Altiplano, the Salar de Uyuni spreads out before our eyes as a vast white expanse that seems endless. It is a sea of salt that, when observed, gives the impression that the world has been frozen in a single moment. What were once great lakes now evaporated over time, left behind a solid silent layer covering the land, creating a landscape that defies logic. When rain covers it, the salt flat becomes an immense mirror, where sky and earth merge into a single reflective surface. Walking across that salt crust feels like walking through emptiness, a place without mountains, shadows, or distortions, only a dissolving horizon and a deep calm settling into the soul. Here one loses track of time, and for a moment forgets everything else. The Salar de Uyuni reminds us that beauty does not always lie in complexity or grandeur, but in simplicity. In its vast plain and stillness, the earth speaks of patience and the purity of natural processes. It invites us to see wonder and serenity in the immensity of what seems to have no end. Each of these landscapes shows us that Earth is not merely a backdrop, but a living entity, always moving, creating, transforming, and adapting over time. When we explore these places, we do not just walk on rock or sand. We learn to listen to the whispers of history speaking from deep within the earth. Every crack, every mountain, every form has a story to tell, a story written without haste yet with unstoppable force. Traveling to these corners is more than admiring them. It is entering into a dialogue with nature, with patience, and with the beauty of what has been changing long before our footprint existed. Here we understand that although we are only temporary visitors, we are part of something far greater. So tell me, which of these landscapes would you like to experience in person? Which one touched your soul most deeply? Leave your comment and let's continue this journey of discovery together, exploring those magical corners of the earth that invite us to wonder and reflect. Beyond the names and coordinates, what remains is a different way of looking at the world. Once we have stood before stone, shaped by oceans that no longer exist, or walked across terrain molded by fire beneath the crust, it becomes difficult to see landscapes as static. The ground beneath our feet is not finished. It is ongoing. Geology teaches without speaking. It does not accelerate for our understanding, nor does it simplify its processes. Pressure accumulates slowly, layers settle quietly. Erosion works with almost invisible persistence. And yet from these subtle forces emerge cliffs, arches, towers, and plains that define entire regions. What appears solid and permanent is in reality part of a cycle too vast to measure in a single lifetime. There is humility in recognizing this scale. Mountains that seem immovable are rising or wearing down by millimeters each year. Deserts that feel eternal were once seabeds. Valleys carved by rivers continue to deepen with every season. When we explore such places attentively, we begin to sense that permanence is an illusion, and that change is the only constant element of the landscape. Walking through these environments encourages a quieter posture. Voices soften. Steps become more deliberate. It is not out of obligation but out of instinct. The surroundings demand attention not through spectacle but through presence. Light shifts across rock faces. Wind traces patterns in sand. Shadows stretch and retract as the day advances. Each detail is part of a larger composition unfolding in real time. These places also remind us that beauty does not require symmetry or comfort. It can emerge from fracture, collision, heat, and pressure. Some of the most striking formations are the result of tension within the Earth's crust of materials forced together or pulled apart. What we perceive as harmony often began in upheaval. The planet builds slowly, but it does not avoid intensity. And yet, despite the magnitude of these processes, life adapts. Vegetation finds its way into cracks. Microorganisms thrive in extreme temperatures. Animals navigate terrains that appear inhospitable. The interaction between geology and life creates another layer of complexity, one where resilience becomes visible. Stone and organism coexist, each influencing the other in subtle ways. To explore such landscapes is to accept that we are observers within an unfinished narrative. Our presence does not define the place, it intersects with it briefly. The rock will continue to erode after we leave. The wind will continue shaping surfaces we have never seen. Time will continue writing new chapters in forms not yet imagined. Perhaps the most valuable lesson these environments offer is perspective. They show us that slowness is not weakness, that repetition is not monotony, and that transformation does not always announce itself dramatically. Often, it is the accumulation of small, consistent actions that shapes the world. In the end, the planet does not need to impress us. It simply continues its work. And if we choose to walk carefully, observe patiently, and listen without interruption, we may begin to understand that exploration is less about discovering something new and more about recognizing processes that have always been there, steady, immense, and quietly shaping everything around us.